once upon a time, specifically October 2nd of 2019, and my God, doesn't that date seem like forever ago? The world of All Elite Wrestling made its debut on cable television, and the wrestling landscape got a new wrinkle, got a new tweak, and let me tell you, when you can get the proper tweakage and the proper perkiness, and you can just make things stand at attention with just so much tweakage and tweakable, perky wrestling, that is the kind of wrestling that's just going to spike up, and you're just going to be staring at all the proper tweakage and all the perkiness and everything. And perky, tweakable wrestling, there's nothing like it. But yes, nearly 19 years after the Monday Night Wars ended, when Jamie Kellner said, fuck you, we don't care if Thunder and Nitro are drawing big ratings. We don't want to be the wrestling network. Well, All Elite Wrestling came in with Tony Khan's funding and various wrestlers from all walks of life, from all independent promotions and bigger promotions and whatever. We said, we're going to put on a goddamn show. And man, it's been quite the journey. They made their debut October 2nd of 2019 through the pandemic, through pay-per-views, through up and down, all around. Come on, defense, work. And now nearly 4 years after they made their debut on Turner Network broadcasts, they went from TNT to TBS, and they've been going all around and in between. Now they're back where it all begins again. That's something else. That's something that Vince probably trademarked. So let's try it again. All that you know is at an end. No, that was Lawrence Fishburne as a Silver Surfer. I got it. In the beginning, there was rap. Dr. Dre said that. You know what? Let's just get to it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from, yes, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, unless you're not a U.S. citizen and that's not your nation's capital. What is your nation's capital? Let me know in the comments, please. But yes, back where it all began, and they're really trying to smash the forbidden door, just pound it through, kick it through and everything. And even though the crowd was significantly smaller than it was for their debut episode, and they've been having some attendance issues, the crowd was pretty hot. The crowd that was there was pretty goddamn hot for this show. And honestly, one of the better editions of Dynamite that they've done in a number of months. I can't say I loved everything, but there were quite a few good moments. Like, we go all about the boom, Adam Cole, baby. And Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who is better than us, and we know it. AEW World Title Eliminator match. If Cole beats him, he gets a title shot. If MJF beats him, he proves that Vince was right. And he had on his elbow pad, Vince was right. And it was great. It was fucking great. And wonder if you guys can guess how I thought about this match. Fucking loved it. Thought it was great. And I have been critical of Adam Cole, baby, since he made his debut in All Elite. And I know he had the concussion issues. He seems healthier. It seemed that match with Jericho at the pay-per-view was not good. I've been worried about Adam Cole, but I'll say this. MJF played to his strengths, hit his weaknesses, and this is the best Adam Cole has looked really since he showed up in All Elite. And his feuds beforehand did him no favors before the concussion. I mean, the Orange Cassidy feud and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the crowd was into it. They were hot. And this was good shit. This was really, really good shit. One of the best openers that AEW has had on any of their programs. This is right up there with Omega versus Danielson for the Arthur Ashe Stadium show. MJF had the Vince was right elbow pad. That was great. I know it a few times during my notes. MJF is so good. And Adam Cole, he was there for everything. He does go into the crowd at one point. MJF does. Knocks the guy's hat off. That was pretty funny. Cole does get a couple flurries, but then MJF stops him, smashes his arm and his hand into the steps, and uses that as a way to just focus on, zero in, get ready for the Salt of the Earth Fujiwara armbar. And so MJF is so good, again, is what I noted. But he mocks Shawn Michaels, and then Cole hits him with a super kick. Now you could tell that MJF had something in there, like blood capsule or something to do to spit up blood. And you know that because they did something where he went and obviously dropped it under the apron skirt and everything. And that's fine. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. They need better camera people to hide this shit. But Cole fires back, gets just 2 counts. The crowd was split. They were cheering MJF. MJF may be my wrestler of the year. Or at least he's up there. Like that really means anything. I'm just one fan. But a shoulder breaker by MJF, double underhook shoulder breaker. Cole hits, the neck breaker that he hits, or, he looks like he's going to do the brain buster, drops him on his knee. That was good. then did one where he ended up hurting his knee. And then we get a tombstone on the apron. MJF hurts his knee. And the thing I like is whenever MJF does that move, and I'm sure it does hurt his knee, but he sells it like death. He just sells it, and he sells it properly. We go to break on that. MJF takes over afterwards. We get kicks from Cole, a lot of super kicks. For Cole, it works, though. Now, yeah, was a little super kick crazy? Perhaps, but at least Cole can wrestle. Unlike other people who throw super kicks now. There was a big old lariat, people were down, it was good stuff, and then we get a crossface, Salt to the Earth was, moved out of that, and then we get an ankle lock, and MJF manages to get a trap, almost like a Rings of Saturn, like he's going to snap the arm, and Cole gets his foot on the rope, and then they end up going to the floor. This is the only part I didn't like, but at least for this, they built to it. MJF put Cole on the table, the ring announcer's table, hit a sky elbow. It looked great. Cole took it right. That really looked painful. I'm sure it was. And the only thing I didn't like actually was the super slow count. And I believe it was referee Bryce Remsburg. And I like Bryce. Bryce Remsburg is a very good referee, but that was super slow. I mean, he was checking on MJF, so at least he was trying to make it work, but that was the only part I didn't like. And then we get a German on the apron by Cole. And then we get a stomp. MJF does a stomp and stomps the arm and everything. Does the jumping stomp. That was good. And then MJF, ends up inadvertently, inadvertently, causing stuff with the ref. The referee gets bumped at one point, on a roll-up, which was good. And then he gets the belt. And then he's about to do something. MJF tosses it to Cole, but Bryce is still stumbling around, still in his eye. So this is good. This is really good. This is great pro wrestling. Imagine if they did more shit like this. Maybe not this long, but did more shit like this. They'd be putting the wrestling in All Elite Wrestling. So Cole finally hits a shot to the head with the belt. Hits the boom kick. 1, 2, kick out. Oh, because the referee's still out of position, holding his eye, so he was doing a slow count. That makes sense. And then MJF collapses before the next boom kick, and then a low blow, but the referee realizes, but since he didn't see it, he can't do anything. And then he gets the ring, MJF does, and then Bryce, for the first time I think in a while, the referee's aware, no, not the ring, no, you're not going to do that. And Cole hits the friggin' kick and hits the boom kick. 1, 2, bell rings, time limit draw. And the crowd was pissed. And it was great. It was great. It was perfectly done. That finish was perfectly done. 1, 2, oh! The only thing that they could have done to make it better was have Justin Roberts do countdowns. Because once Justin Roberts got to about 15, he would have gotten too excited. So maybe it's a good thing they didn't do that. If you know, you know. But they could have done 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. And then they would have done that. Now maybe they wanted to make the drama or whatever, but I still think they would have made the drama just fine. Cole says 5 more minutes. Crowd's cheering. MJF just doesn't even say anything. Just gets his belt and leaves. So good. Good way to build it to a pay-per-view. Or a television special. I don't think they're going to eke this out until All In or All Out. But that was a great way to start the show. And then we get Collision hype. Punk is preparing to come back. Sells scores. He's got a lot to say. However, whatever side you're on, look, I'm not saying I totally agree with everything that Punk did, how he handled all that stuff. But let's be perfectly honest, the Elite have always been little bitches about stuff, and we're probably upset that Punk just spoke his mind. Now, again, I don't know what actually happened. But I just find it funny that Punk has been basically getting paid to sit at home even after he recovered from his injury, and it took this much. Warner Bros. Discovery executives basically having to force Tony Khan to make a goddamn deal. So then Renee comes out, or is out in the ring with Sammy. And he gets boos. Now, even when he said that we're going to have a baby girl, they're booing. You know why? Because nobody likes Sammy. Go home to your goddamn stupid wife and stop laying on your head. They're whatting him. Here's Darby. He congratulates him and then says, it sounds like the fans are starting to love you again. And then boo. Yeah, Darby, you weren't making it work. He says, you really should stand on your own. You don't need Jericho's group. Oh, here's Jericho. Old man yells with bat. He's not the only one. They jab back and forth. Jericho's like, if you had asked for my help, I would have made sure you were champion. Sammy says, well, if you asked for my help, you wouldn't have lost Adam Cole twice. And then, I'm not apologizing for shit. Jericho says, how about we have a tag match, we reunite, and then I teach you who's boss. Darby says, you know, you call yourself a wizard, but it's pretty obvious looking at you that the magic is gone. And then Jericho says, you know, you don't even have a partner, we'll just beat you up. And then suddenly blackout, it's Sting! I believe this is the first time that Sting and Jericho have faced off. Which surprises me, but also I guess shouldn't, given their positions on the card in WCW. And they wouldn't have interacted during Sting's brief time in WWE. So, I guess it does make sense. Except for the fact that Sting's been there for about 3 years. And, okay. Anyway, then they do the bat comparison and stuff like that. And this took a while. Whose bat is bigger? Which old man bat is bigger? Okay. So far, it kind of went back to typical AEW, but you know what? It was what it was. And then Sonata has an open challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. See you next time. I mean, he says a bunch of stuff in Japanese, but I don't speak it, so it was an open challenge. And Sting and Darby were already in the ring. Keith Lee shows up in Orange Cassidy. So it's an 8-man tag against Mogul Embassy. Easy for me to say. Dustin's in the corner because he's partners with Keith Lee. And the Mogul Embassy, Swerve, Khan, K-A-U-N, by the way, Toa Leona, and Brian Cage, who he had Road Warrior Animal's hair, and he had Surfer Sting face paint, and then he had Black Sting tights. And he has about 0.5% of the ability of Sting. He definitely has 0.5% of the charisma of Sting. Referee Rick Knox. Gee, I wonder what we're going to get here. We got to make... Look, the crowd was into it. I'm sorry, but no. This was just another multi-man mess. They are insistent on dragging Darby down by putting him with Orange Cassidy. And look, I'm sorry. There are people who like Orange Cassidy. I don't. Sting stumbled, and that looked really bad. It's like, oh... And Toa Leona took care of him. I mean, I'm not knocking about it. It's not like, oh, God, he looked every bit the 63. And he still runs the corner-to-corner Baron Tanahashi. But just, Sting ends up eventually hitting a Scorpion Death Drop on Brian Cage, 1, 2, 3. I didn't like this, but it wasn't dull. The crowd certainly liked it. And then Renee's with the guns. They want the Hardys. And then Wardlow took on Jake Hager. And apparently they're 1-1. I forgot that Wardlow and Jake Hager had that terrible MMA-style match during the pandemic. It's a TNT title match, by the way. Arn is at ringside. And various Jericho Appreciation Society members get fought off. At one point, Arn and Brock take out the former 2.0. Hager, Jake Hager has been cashing a lot of checks for years and years in wrestling, despite being unremarkable at pretty much everything. I mean, he's a good athlete, but so what? He's unremarkable as far as any facet of anything except slightly above average in-ring ability. And Wardlow eventually hits a swanton and then hits a couple power bombs, 1, 2, 3. And then Christian and Luchasaurus are on the screen. The audio isn't working. And yeah, Arn and Brock fought to the back. Hey, we're going to have a TNT match on Collision. TNT title match on Collision. And what are you going to do when your dad's not there, your new dad? And Arn's left bloody, and they try to make it look like he got his head gashed. Like he fell down some stairs, like Jimmy Snuka was attacking Nancy Argentino and didn't face repercussions for it. There you go. All right. I mean, I've seen, again, the crowd is pretty much up for everything. The crowd did help this show. Tanahashi then has a message for MJF. He wants to face him for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I love Tanahashi. I do. I love MJF. I don't know what MJF can get out of Tanahashi at this stage of his career, nevertheless. Okay, cool. Renee then tells MJF, hey, you're going to face Tanahashi at the pay-per-view. I'm not going to face somebody from a rinky-dink indie fed, and maybe I won't show up. It wouldn't be the first time I've walked out of something. No, he'll show up. And it'll be a match. It'll be fine. Because MJF's going to do his best and Tanahashi's going to get by on willpower alone. So Orange Cassidy is interrupted by Zack Sabre Jr., and then Daniel Garcia interrupts them. And what I got out of this, because I refuse to really listen to anything Orange Cassidy says, Shibata is going to be there next week, and it's going to be a tag match. Okay. Cool. Why do they drag actual wrestlers down with Orange Cassidy? Why? Zack Sabre Jr., this is how you're going to use him? I know he's been on Ring of Honor television, whatever. Sky Blue versus Toni Storm, AEW Women's Championship match. Saraya called DC a hellhole. I think we know where her allegiances lie. Also, she would know about having a hellhole, wouldn't she? Since everybody else has been in it. Sky Blue, her mom was in the front row. She attacked with forearms. She knocks Ruby. There was a cardboard cutout of Saraya that actually had more personality than the real one. And then, you know, Sky Blue is going to need more time. The hip attacks were nice to see. I volunteer as tribute. Nevertheless, they sprayed Sky's mom in the face. See, Saraya wasn't there because it would have given her flashbacks. I would feel bad saying the stuff about Saraya, but she deserves every bit of ridicule that she fucking gets, especially for defending her abuser boyfriend. So anyway, we get a dive, we go to break. The crowd was into it. So we get distractions. Sky had blue face paint. Spray paint, rather. And then we get a code blue, but a distraction by Ruby, and then eventually Storm 0, 1, 2, 3. I've seen worse matches. This wasn't great, but it was okay, I guess. And then, well, actually, Storm 0 was a 2 count, and then the Clover Queef got the victory. I kind of tuned out of the finish because it got really messy. And then they were beating her down 2-on-1, and Willow Nightingale showed up. Willow's back. That's good. She recently beat Mercedes Moné for the Strong Women's Championship. New Japan Strong Women's Championship. I'm tired. I'm sorry. So, Renee is with Hook. There, that's the best you're going to get. And Jack Perry. Jack Perry says, you have a title. I want a title. Sonata, I'm answering your open challenge. God, I guess Sonata's really going to have to earn his paycheck there. You're my best friend, Hook. Aww. Forbidden Door package on the main 2 matches and a couple of things. Danielson has shown up at this point. Oh, and we also get a Collision Hype package on the main event. And Collision main event Hype package. Miro's back, and Andrade El Olio is back. So, we get the BCC. We get Wild Thing. You make DC sing. It's Mox, Yuta, and Claudio against the Hung Bucks. No, really, that's what they're calling them. Hangman Page and the Young Bucks. I want to know if you can guess how I felt about this. It was every Young Bucks Elite match you've seen. I'm sorry, but I hate anarchy in the arena. And while I recognize that there is a place for this kind of stuff, it was busy. The crowd was into it. It was the typical stuff. Referee Rick Knox, who is the worst referee going. The worst referee. Period. He's fucking terrible. It was a jump start and a bunch of stuff, and we end up getting Yuta pinned. That's all I have to say about this. And then we get a show-ending brawl. Oh, wow. Again, this was busy. The problem is they've ended with so many show-ending brawls that even though there were elements of good things here, everything just got washed away. It just was all blending together. Eddie Kingston shows up because he's still won the Ring of Honor Championship from Claudio, and I guess he recovered from hernia surgery. That's good. He's also going to be in the G1 soon. That's going to be interesting, I'll say that much. Big pop for Eddie, by the way. He stares down Mox. It seems like he's upset, at the Bucks getting in his way. And then Takeshita shows up, and he lays a few people out. Then Omega's back. He attacks Takeshita. We get some kicks. And then Omega kept checking back to make sure Ospreay was making his, run in. Good job, Omega. Good job. Good job, you fucking idiot. And this was actually him and Takeshita got some attention. And he's like, yeah. And then Ospreay attacks Omega. And basically we get holy shit chance. He hits one hidden blade and then stands over him, all this and everything. Ospreay's going to compete on Rampage, by the way. I took a look at the Rampage lineup, and I guess I'll just review it, because why not? There's one match in particular that people want me to review. Thank you very much. And then Ospreay hits another hidden blade to close the show. It was a busy show. I can't say I loved everything, but it certainly started great. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.